Hi and welcome to the podcast. My name is Kristen. You can find me on Instagram as Skein Yarn and on Ravelry as K10, that's K10. So today is the 27th of March and it is episode 114, which is crazy. I hope you're doing really well. I've got lots of things to share today, but mainly patterns that I have been eyeing off and also sewing patterns. I am actually wearing a finished object, which is the Sudley top by Neilson. I'm going to talk about this a little bit later, but yeah, I really enjoyed sewing this one. I've had quite a big sewing renaissance, I guess. I've been watching the Sewing Bee, which is the Great British Sewing Bee, and yeah, I just been really influenced by that show to get the sewing machine out and get started sewing. It's also been a little bit cooler here, which I think has helped. When it gets very hot here, it's very humid, so you just don't feel like getting up and doing anything, and particularly when I'm cutting out patterns, which I do on the floor, it's a lot of work. So having that cooler weather is actually helping me to get into sewing again. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of sewing to show and a little bit of knitting. So I've mainly been finishing things. So last episode I spoke about all the whips that I had currently on my needles. But yeah, I've decided I want to finish a few because I actually really want to cast on more projects. But yeah, I just want to finish a few, particularly ones that I can wear right now. Anyway, let's get started. So I finished the Isla Shawl that I showed you last episode, which is by Sagebrush. And this is such a lovely little shawlette. It's, as you can see, it's small and super quick to knit. I think I knit this one in, I think it was like 3 nights worth of knitting. I used our ACM yarn, which is the alpaca cotton merino, and it's very, very fluffy and gorgeous. It's also very soft, so you can wear it around your neck. There's no prickle in this yarn. So yeah, it's a great little pattern, and what's really good about it too is it only uses a small amount of yarn, so you can reuse the leftovers for another shawl. Okay, it's pouring rain outside. You might be able to hear it. So what I ended up doing was I decided to do another shawl, switching the colours around, and I knit this one. So this one again didn't take very long to knit, and I have blocked it, but I just need to weave in the ends. And as you can see, I just reverse the colours, and I have more yarn left over actually. So I'm not going to knit a third one now, but I do have plans to knit another one soon, just to use the leftover yarns. But this is such a good pattern. Like, you could buy 3 skeins of yarn and knit 3 different shawls, and you could keep one and give the others away as gifts. Yeah, I just really like it. I love the smallness of the shawl. I do really love big shawls in winter, but I think this time of year in particular, this is so lovely to wear, and it has almost like a vintage retro sort of vibe, which I really, really like, and they're fun to knit too. So it's basically just slip stitches. The pattern is written as well as charted, and I just looked at the chart the whole way through, and yeah, love it. The colours I used were, now I've got to remember, I think it was Petrol, which was the dark blue, Crema, which is the white, and then Rust, which is the lovely rusty yellow, orange. But yeah, really beautiful pattern and very wearable, and like I said, great for gifts. So the next project is the Isla Shawl by Andrea Mowry, and I've had this on my needles for quite some time. And I really just want to finish it because now's a really good time to wear it. It is knit out of a fingering weight yarn, so it's quite a light layering piece. So yeah, great for this time of year. I'm using our Whimsy colour in which has been dyed on our frizz base, which is our merino boucle. It's a really lovely yarn to work with, very soft. The only thing with boucle is you do have to be careful when you're knitting it because it is quite a curly yarn, so sometimes your needle gets stuck into the little loops on the boucle, so not a great yarn for a beginner knitter, but I really love the effect of it. It's a very textured project itself. It's a mix of stockinette and reverse stockinette, but the boucle adds even more texture to it, which I really like. I have knit this before, like I've mentioned in other podcasts. I used our ACM for the previous one that I knit, which is the yarn that I knit the Isla Shawls in, and that was great too, so that's another good option. But yeah, a really great pattern. I just had to get past the point where I had so many stitches on cables holding them while I was working the yoke section, because there's a lot of shaping up in the yoke area and you're doing it all in separate sections, so it was so annoying having all these cords hanging off my knitting, and every time I'd pull the knitting out of my bag to start working on it, the yarn would get caught in the cables, and yeah, it was just so annoying. So I just had to power through and get it all done and all joined up, so now it's really nice. I was just so annoyed by it that when I joined everything up, I just got in and I wove in all the ends because I just couldn't stand having anything hanging off the cardigan. But yeah, anyway, so I've finished the sleeves, they're all done now, and all I have to do is the front bands and neckband. It's all done in one, and I did try it on. I really like it as it is. I don't know if I'm going to be adding pockets. So it does come with these big pockets that sit on either side, obviously at the front. I don't know, I'm still up in the air as to whether I want to knit them. I'm thinking I might just leave them off. The first one that I made, I did that, I didn't put pockets on it. So yeah, I think I might do the same for this one. But yeah, it's a great pattern. So this is by Andrea Mowry, I'm not sure if I said that, and yeah, hopefully next time I speak to you guys, I will be wearing this. What else? That's it really for my knitting. I mean, I have a lot of things on the needles, but I really haven't worked on anything else. I was dedicated to getting these ones finished, and then I really want to get the Traveller Shell done, and then I can start focusing on my other whips. But I also have plans to cast on some things. So this week in the studio, I've been dyeing up a ton of mohair silk lace, and I did 20 colours, so I did a lot of different types. I've done speckled and semi-solid, and I was looking at some patterns to add to the newsletter, which I do all the time, and I actually thought this time, instead of looking for patterns that are knit holding two strands of yarn, so holding a mohair with a DK or a sport or a fingering weight yarn, how about I try and find patterns that are just knit out of mohair silk lace? And I found a ton, and then I got really influenced by them, and I want to cast on about 5 different patterns. So I was trying to think, I don't think I have ever actually knit myself anything with just straight mohair. It's always been held with something, and I'm lucky I can actually wear mohair, it doesn't affect me. Sometimes the strands, you know, can get up your nose and make you feel a bit itchy, but I don't have an allergy to it. And this mohair, if you're looking for mohair to use on its own that's not scratchy, you have to look for kid mohair. If it just says mohair without the kid, then it can actually be a little bit scratchy, but the kid mohair is very soft, which is what this is, kid mohair and silk. So I thought what I would do is I would talk about a few of the patterns that I found and share them with you, and then I will go on and talk about sewing. So yeah, not a huge podcast this week, but plenty of patterns to talk about. So let's get started. So the first pattern I want to talk about is the Elena Pullover by Claudia Quintanilla. She works for Unit Toronto. She might even be the owner of that shop. This is such a lovely sweater that popped up when I was looking for mohair silk lace patterns. So this has got me written all over it because it has a lace yoke, which I absolutely love. You can knit this pattern all in one color, or you can not alternate, but color block. So do the yoke in one color and the body in another color. And it's actually knit holding 2 strands of lace together. Now the beauty of mohair silk lace is that you don't need a lot of it to knit a sweater. So for my size, I need 4 skeins. So 2 skeins, if I'm going to color block, I would use 2 skeins for the top, 2 skeins for the bottom. So just holding both of those yarns together. Or if I wanted to knit it just in the one color, I worked out I would only need 3 skeins. But if I did knit this, I was thinking that it would be really nice to have maybe this combination. So I could have a very plain, this is Crema de Cafe, so it's like a very sort of light coffee crema color up the top, and then the bottom section I could do New Beginnings or something like a lighter color, speckly color for the bottom. So that was one thing I was looking at. You could also just knit this in a plain color as well, which would look just as nice. So yeah, that was the first one that I came across. The second one is the Sonia Blouse by Tanja Koenigs, and she actually has quite a few patterns that use only mohair silk lace. And I know when the email went out for the shop update, a lot of people contacted me about this pattern. They wanted to use the yarn for this one and needed help with the yardage. So this pattern, again, you hold 2 strands together, and if I was to knit this again, I would only need 4 skeins of yarn, which is up to 200. Actually, no, I'm getting this wrong. So with this pattern, the amount of yarn that you would need in total for all sizes is 200 grams, which is 4 skeins of our merino silk lace, which is great. And I think if I was to knit this, I would need 3 skeins if I'm just doing the one color. If I wanted to color block that, I would have to work that out. But yeah, I could get away with using 3 skeins for this. Anyway, I really love this pattern. So that's one that I'm definitely thinking of using, making. I'm pretty sure this is a top down. Yeah, it is. It's a top down, which is great because actually this would be really nice cropped for me. Anyway, that's how I would like to knit it. So that is the SORA Blouse by Tanja Koenigs, and she actually did another pattern which I absolutely love too. This is the RITA blouse. Now this one is color blocked, and I absolutely love the combination that she used with the pink at the top and the bright red on the bottom. This one, however, uses 4 strands held together, so it's going to be quite a thicker weight sweater. I did notice that a few people had lengthened the sleeves, and I quite like that. I like the short sleeve version, but I actually think it'd be really nice as a 3/4 length or bracelet length. And because the sleeves are quite wide, what I would do, I think, is I would knit the sleeves straight. I wouldn't put any shaping in, and at the very end I'd do a rapid decrease and have like a balloon sleeve, and then maybe put a small what do you call it, rib cuff. So that would look really nice. So I'm tossing up whether to do the pattern that I just mentioned before or this one. And if I did do this one, I would probably do quite a brighter combination. So I don't know. I do really like, this is marigold. I do really like this combination of marigold and cocoa bean. And I also really like the darker tamarind. They would look really nice together, wouldn't they? That's sort of like a red and a pink, but keeping it more in the purpley tones. So yeah, anyway, there's a lot of different variations that I could pick for this one. So yeah, it's a really difficult choice, because I just love all of these. Like I said, I've never tried knitting a mohair sweater, so I would really like to try that. And I think even here, because we don't get, our winters aren't very cold, could probably wear it throughout winter, which would be great. Another sweater that came up was the Maud blouse by Fabel Knitwear, and I absolutely love the silhouette of this. This is a real contender too. So this has a real vintage vibe. She says it's a romantic knit inspired by blouses worn by Queen Maud in the early 1900s. It's beautiful. It's also it's also knit with 2 strands of mohair silk lace held together. And yeah, there's a lot of people who have knit this, so yeah, lots of patterns that you can look at in project notes to read, which I like doing before I start a project. So yeah, that is gorgeous. I've put that one in my queue. I also really like Lily Sheer Top by Irene Lynn. So this is with just 1 strand of mohair silk lace, and it's just a very light mohair silk lace top, but I really love the sleeves. So they're sort of puffy, and I really do love puffy sleeves. So this one is high on my list too. I may not knit this one straight away, but I did actually add this one to my queue for later. I can totally see myself wearing this over a dress, and also just over a tank top. It's such a nice top. It can also be what do you call it, like classed up. Like you could wear that out to dinner at night with a nice black cami underneath. Anyway, it's a really lovely pattern. Okay, what else? There's just so many that I came across that I really loved. Tanja Koenig, another pattern that she came out with is the FEIYA V cardigan. This is sort of like a batwing design. Is it batwing? No, it's just very very large sleeves, but I really like this too. It's very modern, has a very modern look with oversized, nice and warm. I'll just check to see how many strands of yarn. Yeah, so this is again 2 strands held together, which it looks a lot bulkier. But yeah, it's 2 strands held together, and no button bands, which is really nice. So it's just a very plain, I would say this is very easy to knit cardigan. And yeah, this also went into my queue. A lot of them did. I mean, I just love all of these sweaters. So the last sweater that I want to talk about for mohair silk lace is the CP05 V-neck by Minimi Knit Design. And It is 2 lace held together. It's a gorgeous top-down V-neck with long sleeves. Again, nice and easy to knit. And I was thinking with this one it'd be really interesting to use 2 different colours. So marl, the yarns, which would look fantastic with this design. So yeah, I've got lots of choices. I have to decide which one I want to make. I am probably leaning towards the colour block. I'm really liking the idea of adding the long sleeves to that, and yeah, and I like the colour block idea. So anyway, we'll see. I guess next episode I will show you what I decided on knitting, but what's your choice out of those? Which one would you cast on? I'd love to know. And hopefully I've given you some ideas too for some patterns with mohair silk lace. Alright, so sewing. I have a couple of things to share. I did actually buy some patterns last week, which I was hoping would arrive today, but they haven't. I don't think they're going to be here until next week, but I'll talk about those in the next podcast. But I have finished a top. This is the Sudley, as I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, by Neilson. And do I have I don't actually have the pattern here with me, but it's such a good pattern to have in your stash. I'll put a few pictures up so you can see. There's lots of variations that you can do with this pattern. So you can do a basic top. I did the crop top, which you can wear this cute little keyhole either in the front or the back. You can add the ties if you want, or you can add a hook and eye. I opted for the ties. You can make a longer top with different sleeve variations. I think there's a short, this one is the longer sleeve, and then, well, cap sleeve, short sleeve, and then long sleeve. There's the dress version. There's a hack that you can do with this crop top. You can add the frill, or not the frill, the flounce at the bottom, which is just cutting a portion of the dress section and then adding it to the top and having a flounce. So yeah, there's so many options. I really enjoyed sewing this. It was just so easy. I think I did this in one afternoon. I used fabric that I had in my stash. I've had this for, I think I worked out, about 18 years. So I ordered some fabric a long time ago from Japan online, and I was pretty sure this was a seersucker. It is actually quite textured, like a dimpled, spotty texture. And I bought 2. I bought this one and I bought a black one with white polka dots. So, and unfortunately, I don't know why, but I ordered like just over 1 meter. So I didn't have a lot to do, and I've had it in my stash for a long time. I don't have a huge fabric stash, but I do want to start using what I do have. But yeah, I could never figure out what to do with this because there was just not enough fabric. Anyway, I did cut out all the pieces of the pattern and I puzzled it onto this fabric, and it took ages for me to work out how I was going to cut it out, but I did fit it all in, and there was just this tiny amount of fabric waste left over, which was great. So I will be doing the same top again, but using the black and white fabric, which will be really nice. And I would love to make the dress too, and I have made lots of dresses and I'm always drawn to patterns with dresses, but I just don't wear them enough. So yeah, I think I'll just be making another top, but that's fine. And then after I finished doing this, I decided while I was waiting for my patterns to arrive, I wanted to I wanted to sew another top. So I had this fabric in my stash, which is again about the same. I bought this around the same time as I bought the fabric from Japan. I'm pretty sure I bought this as a lining fabric for bags, but I really like it. It's got these little, they look like flower buds, or to me they look like cocktail glasses, but it's so lovely. It has a real kind of vintage vibe to it, and far away that it just looks like little polka dots. So anyway, I was drawn to this fabric when I was going through what I have in my stash, and I was trying to think what I wanted to make with it, and I have lots of different patterns that I could have tried, but wearing the Sagebrush shirt, not tee, but blouse on the last episode, I sort of thought, oh, I really like this, and I've made 2 of them, so I thought, well, why not make a 3rd one? And I would be interesting to see actually how it would sew up with this lighter cotton fabric. So yeah, I have done the body section. All I need to do now is the sleeves. I was going to do it yesterday when I got home from work, but I was actually quite tired, so I didn't want to mess around with sleeves when I felt a bit tired. The sleeves do have to have elastic put in them as well. They are very puffy, and they get cinched in by the elastic. So yeah, I really can't wait to finish this, and I'm not far off finishing it, so hopefully I'll get that done this weekend. Then there is this chalk and notch pattern which I bought recently. I actually showed this on the podcast a while ago, and I was looking through Instagram. I have a separate sewing what do you call it, account on Instagram for sewing only, and I'll put my username below. I can't remember what I am. I'm just not on there enough to remember. I do actually post it in my stories too, because as Skein yarn, because I do know a lot of people sew as well as knit, but I don't put it in the feed. But yeah, anyway, I was looking through Instagram and I saw this chalk and notch pattern, which is the Wren blouse. It's actually a dress as well, and the dress is beautiful, and I was tempted to cast the dress on, but I'm going to do the blouse, cast the dress on, sew the dress. I'm just so used to talking about knitting. Anyway, I found someone who had made this top using linen, and it looked beautiful, and the sleeves, again, they're nice and puffy, and because the linen's a little bit thicker and a little more structured, the sleeves look fantastic. So this is going to be started after I finish the Sagebrush. And then ages ago I actually made this pattern. I made pajama pants for myself and for Paul. This is the Walk the Plank PJ bottoms by Patterns for Pirates, and this is free. So, and it's very simple, but they're great. They sew up beautifully and they wear really well. So I made us both the long pair of pants for winter, but you can also do shorts, and there's 2 lengths. There's a short and a mid, like a knee length short. So I'm going to be sewing those for us at some stage. And then again, ages ago, Papercut Patterns, who I believe is in New Zealand, they had a sale of their paper patterns, and I've already mentioned I prefer paper patterns because I know I used to go to all the effort of tracing off the pattern and onto interfacing and then cutting it out, but now I just cut the patterns, and that's probably not a good idea because if I cut the wrong size, then I've cut the pattern. But I find it so fiddly that it prevents me from sewing, so I just cut out the pattern. I also do, I think I mentioned this last episode, when I get a PDF pattern, I have actually sent it to the copy shop, which is near work, and they've printed it out on big sheets of paper, so that's a good one too. But anyway, so the Papercut patterns, I bought the Fjord cardigan, which is really a lovely design. This is would be great if you wanted to color block, because it's actually has lots of different pieces sewn together. I was thinking it'd be really nice to do quite a thick jersey or something. So yeah, that's, I really want to knit this. I really want to sew this for winter. And then this one, which I'm going to be probably doing next, actually after my blouses arrive, I'm going to be doing those, and then I plan to do this one next. This is a Sapporo coat jacket, again by Papercut Patterns, and there's two different types. There's a long jacket and a smaller coat, and I'll be doing the smaller coat. So this is great. It has pockets that are hidden. I've never actually done a jacket before. It has a lining, so it's quite an involved make, but I've never done a jacket, so this will be really cool to try. And I think it'll be a good one to start with because there's no buttons, and I think it'd be quite forgiving. So if I do a few errors, I don't think you're going to notice it too much. But I love the fabric that they've used, and I have noticed in Spotlight in winter they have very thick jersey, I don't know what else you would call it. It's like a very thick knitted fabric, so I thought that would be good for this one. And then finally, another Papercut pattern is this stacker jacket. Again, this is more involved than the Sapporo coat, but I really want to give this a try too. So it has pockets, it has press stud buttons. Anyway, there's two different types of pockets too. There's patch pockets, or there's pockets with a flap, and I think I like the little flap pockets. So yeah, that's another one for me to try. So I'm going to be hopefully sewing a lot and also knitting a lot too. I have lots of plans, obviously. I'd love to know what your plans are for winter if you're here in southern hemisphere, or what are your plans going into spring and summer? Like, are you going to be sewing more, or are you going to be doing some lovely summer knitting? And if you do knit in summer, what do you knit? Like, do you knit socks or shawls or tees? I definitely am a person who loves to knit tees in summer and socks. They're my go-tos. And then in winter, obviously, I love sweaters and sweaters. I pretty much knit lots of sweaters. Anyhow, oh, and I must say too, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, I think I did, but our shop now is open for appointment. That is our shop in, it's actually in Boambi Valley, but it's where the hospital is in Coffs Harbour, which is on the freeway. We are just off that road. So yes, if you're ever in Coffs Harbour, or if you're visiting or whatever, please just email us and let us know when you're coming through, and yeah, we can organise to have the shop open, which would be great. I have ideas of expanding what we are offering, so hopefully I'll have more of that information soon. But yeah, I am stocking the shop full of winter yarns at the moment. I have the Mohair silk lace, which is going in today. I have plans to do more curly DK, which is the boucle. I have more DK yarn going in the shop, which is our cushy DK. I'm planning to do more sock kits as well. I have those yarns coming in soon, so I'm going to start dyeing those up. So yeah, we are in full production swing, and it helps obviously to have cooler weather, because yeah, in summer it's very, very hot in the studio, which is why we usually don't have visits then, and yeah, because we're not there very often. I'm in there very early dyeing yarn, and then we close up and come home. But now it's like perfect temperature. So hope you're all doing well, and comment below. I love reading your comments, and yeah, I will talk to you in another 2 weeks. Bye.